Did you know that London cabbies have their own vocabulary? There's a unique set of words and phrases that cabbies use to describe places and anything related to the cab trade. The first word we're going to learn today is the Dead Zoo. I'm going to take you there right now. And this is it, the Dead Zoo, or commonly known as the Natural History Museum. Taxi drivers refer to the Natural History Museum as the Dead Zoo because, well, it's full of animals that are not alive. When a cab driver says to me, "I've just dropped off at the Dead Zoo," what he means is, I've just dropped off at the Natural History Museum. So you've forgotten to pay. It doesn't matter if you haven't got cash. We take contactless as well. Well, I don't think that passenger will be coming back. A passenger who runs out of a taxi without paying is called a bilker. Bilker literally means cheat or one who evades payment. A question I get asked a lot by many people is, do people leave your taxi without paying? Well, occasionally they do. I get bilked. It can also be used as a verb. Well, what do we do about it? Well, because it's so infrequent, we don't do anything about it. We just write it off as experience. Maybe happens about once or twice a year. So there you go, bilker. I'm at Ealing Taxi Rank with Cabbie,
Tim.
and I'm going to teach you some of those unique cabby words that relate to the taxi ranks in and around London. And our first cabby word that relates to taxi rank is
On point.
And what does that actually mean, Tim?
Well, it means that I've been waiting here 15-20 minutes and hoping for a decent job at the end of it.
And another unique word which can make an appearance on a taxi rank is the phrase, it's not really a word, it's called brooming down. Now, cab drivers don't like this word, do they? What does it mean, Tim?
Well, it means that if there's a driver in front of you and he's not keen on doing the job, that he passes it back to you.
And they broom the job down because
it's probably going somewhere where they don't want to go, or it's not worth doing.
Tim, what do you think about cab drivers who broom down? Ladies and gentlemen, brooming down. The next cabby word is butterboy or buttergirl. This refers to a newly qualified driver who's just started driving as a cabbie. Now, butterboy, buttergirl, I found out there's two meanings that could possibly be. First of all, other cab drivers say, "Look at them, new driver. Butter wouldn't melt in their mouth." The other definition of butterboy is that they're so called because they're accused of nicking all the bread and butter work from the older drivers. So there you have it, butterboy. Our next cabby word is Rhoda. This means a job that takes you out of London, through the suburbs and beyond. Last year I had my best Rhoda. It took me from Connaught Square at Marble Arch all the way out to the Cotswolds and back. Cabbies love to talk about their best Rhoda. Rhoda.
Take me to London Bridge, Cabbie, and make it snappy. I'm in a rush.
No problem, sir. I'll certainly do my best to get you there on time. This is what is known in the trade as a hurry-up job. Yep, and I hate them. You will get, very frequently, customers jumping in the back and saying, "I'm in a rush. I need to be here by this time." Well, cab drivers, we will always do our best to get you there on time, but sometimes it's not that easy. We are competing with tens of thousands of other vehicles. Hurry-up job. The next one is flyer. You can probably guess this one. It means a job to the airport. London cabbies often prefix it with trapped. I trapped a flyer, meaning I got a job to the airport. flyer. The next Cabbie word is Kipper season. Yeah, that's a strange one, isn't it? Well, it actually refers to the months just after the new year, January, February, March. These are the months where work in the cab industry goes right down and hits rock bottom. Cab drivers are working 15, 16 hours a day just to make a living. And sometimes waiting for a job in Kipper season can go on and on and on and on. So why Kipper season? Well, it's because we can't afford to eat fine steak anymore. We can only afford these kippers. That's why it's called Kipper season. Behind me is a public convenience in SW1 known by cabbies as the Iron Lung. Now, I thought this public convenience was called the Iron Lung because it was made out of 2 sheets of iron and looked like a lung. But I've met Dave, a cab driver, who's telling me the real reason why it's called the Iron Lung. Hi, Dave.
Good afternoon. Yeah, the reason it is, thankfully, television, you can't get the smells of the things that you're filming, but you need iron lungs to stand in there. It does reek.
Well, that explanation makes far more sense. I wouldn't recommend walking in there with flip-flops on. Ladies and gentlemen, the Iron Lung. The next one is leather arse. You might be able to figure this one out. It refers to a taxi driver who spends most of his day in his taxi looking for work, stuck to the seat of his taxi. Normally happens around Kipper season. I'm not sure why it's still called leather arse, because nowadays all the taxis' drivers' seats are made of fabric. Fabric arse. Fabric arse. Didn't he play for Chelsea? You may recognise this building as the Houses of Parliament or the Palace of Westminster. However, London cabbies refer to it as the Gasworks, not because it looks like a power station, but because of all the hot air that spouted out of the politicians' mouths within those 4 walls. The Gasworks. Another unique cabbie word is the word burst, and relates to the venue behind me, the Royal Albert Hall. When an event finishes at a certain time and the doors open, we refer to that as the burst. It's when thousands of people flood out onto the street, and hopefully some of them are looking for a cab. Cabbies are always sharing information on forums and social media about what venues are bursting and at what time. It makes sense, so they can get there and trap a job. Burst. And finally, today's unique cabbie phrase is be lucky. This is what cabbies love to wish each other after they've had a good natter together. They always say at the end, be lucky. Thanks for watching today's episode. Leave any comments down below. If you enjoyed it, why not subscribe? Until next time, stay tuned and be lucky.